This is the CJC D5 Desorber. This is the newest and the most compact in the Desorber lineup, which is used for removing water from oil. And this one also includes a filter for taking out particulates simultaneously. The Desorber is used a lot in the marine segment, especially for things like bow thrusters and stern tubes, and is also used in industry for gearboxes, for hydraulic systems, anywhere that water is a constant problem or a steady ingression. The D5 is suited for smaller systems, as can be noted by its compact size. The Desorber products operate on the ability of cold air to draw in moisture as it heats up. Hot oil in the Desorber chamber is met with cold air bubbles that enter from the bottom. As the air bubbles rise through the oil, they heat up and expand, pulling in moisture from the surrounding oil. The hot, moist air is then cooled, either with air, water, or a refrigeration circuit, depending on the model. The cooling process condenses the water, which collects in the cooler housing. The water drains off. The oil system has a supply pump which runs continuously at a fixed speed, and the correct oil level is maintained in the chamber by the discharge pump and/or a bypass valve, depending on the model. Finally, the oil passes through a CJC filter before going back into the system. So I'll show you the main components, starting up here with the control box. In behind it we have the fan-forced cooler. Down below is the electric preheater. Back here is the pre-filter sample point. And right here is the inlet pump. Moving over to this side, we have the HDU fine filter. We have the pressure gauge up top here. We have the filter pump, and then up top is the air blower, and in behind is the Desorber chamber. This is all mounted in a nice compact frame with lifting points for overhead crane use. Now I'll walk you through the oil flow path. So starting here at the inlet pump, this is drawing off of your system, typically from the low point where any water or debris is going to settle. From here, the pump passes it past the pre-filter sample point. This is where you could take an oil sample. From there, it goes directly into the heater housing, which is connected to the Desorber chamber in the back. The heater tube and the Desorber chamber are covered in an insulating foam to help retain the heat. At the back of the chamber, we have the oil outlet, which comes down and into the pump, which is also the filter pump. So this is drawing the oil out of the chamber, passes through the HDU filter, and then to the outlet, which is located at the bottom of the filter. Also down here we have the drain valve, which is used for changing the filter. You'll use this to empty the oil out of the filter housing prior to changing the filter insert. If you're familiar with the HDU 1525, you'd be used to seeing an air bleed screw up at the top. However, on this unit, we've got a continuous air bleed line, which bleeds any air from the housing back into the Desorber chamber. So you don't need to manually bleed this system. Now the air circuit. Up here we have the air blower, and this is pushing air down into the bottom of the Desorber chamber, where these bubbles are going to rise and strip the moisture out of the oil. From here, the air is taken off the top and passes into this heat exchanger with a fan for cooling. The air is then recirculated back to the blower. As the moist air is passing through the cooler, it condenses and the moisture comes out of the drain hose off the back of the unit. Always make sure to keep this unobstructed, and we recommend putting it into a pail so you can see how much moisture you've captured out of the system. So here we have the control box with the operator interface. We'll take a look inside, show you the main components. We've got a circuit breaker here we've got our smart relay system here, some terminal blocks, and our power supply. The desorber is operated from the main panel here. There's a number of function buttons, and these are described on the screen of what they do. Starting the desorber is done by pressing F1. You can see now it's changed to show filter pump running. To stop it again, you can see we can press F1 again and it will turn off. When we have it running, after about a minute of operation, we recommend to check oil at the sample valve. Open the sample valve to see if any oil is coming out. That will make sure that the desorber is getting the oil supply it needs. If it doesn't come out, then you'll want to check your supply line, and if it does, you can let it keep running. After 5 minutes, you can start the dewatering process by pressing F2. You'll hear the fan turn on and the blower turn on, and the desorber process is now started. You can disable the desorber process on its own by pressing F2 again, or if you want to stop everything completely, press F1. You'll see the F3 function is an auto restart in the event of a power failure. Press F3 to enable the auto restart, or press it again to disable. Now you can see that it is currently enabled, so you'll press it again to disable it. Check with your local operators or your engineering team to see if an auto restart is acceptable. The D5 includes a number of fault detection systems, and these will be indicated by the lighting of the screen in red. Possible faults include leak detection, which is a float switch in the drip pan, or a high pressure switch on the filter, indicating a plugged filter, and could also include level faults or temperature faults. In the event of a tripped high heat thermostat, the reset is located under the cover. Just remove these 2 screws and you'll see this button popped out, so just simply reset it by pushing in with a pen or a screwdriver. The fault will be displayed on the screen, what the problem is, and there are some troubleshooting steps in the manual to determine the cause and the remediation. When you've corrected the fault, press Enter to clear it, and you can now resume normal operation. And that's the D5 Desorber Combi. If you're looking for something a little bit larger, check out the other units that we have, the D10, the D30, or the D40, and you can find videos of each of those on our channel.